The Two Sons, A Mother's Choice. The train rumbled along the tracks, its rhythmic clatter filling the air as an old woman sat by the window, gazing at the blurred landscapes rushing past. Her hands, wrinkled and worn from years of labor, clutched a small cloth bundle, her only belongings for the trip. Her name was Amma Jan, and today she was traveling from the village to the city, where her eldest son, Kamran, lived in a towering apartment of glass and steel. As the city skyline loomed in the distance, a sense of unease settled in her chest. Kamran had insisted that she stay with him for a while. "You'll be more comfortable here, Amma," he had told her over the phone. "No need to tire yourself with village life. I have everything you need." When the train halted at the station, Cameron was waiting with his sleek black car. Dressed in an expensive suit, he stood out among the crowd of weary travelers. As soon as he spotted her, he waved, but his smile was hurried, distracted. "Amma, let's go. I have a meeting soon." She nodded, her heart heavy. The drive through the city was dizzying. Endless traffic, honking horns, and people rushing as if racing against time. Amma Jan sat quietly, clutching her bundle, feeling like a misplaced relic in this fast-moving world. They arrived at Kamran's apartment, a grand place with marble floors, shimmering chandeliers, and towering windows that framed the city like a painting. A maid immediately took her bundle, but Amma Jan reached out, stopping her gently. "No need, Beta. I can keep it myself." The maid hesitated, then stepped back, and Amma Jan felt an odd sense of discomfort, as if she had disturbed the natural order of the house. Days passed, and despite the luxury, Amma Jan felt restless. Kamran was always busy. Meetings, calls, business dinners. His schedule was a maze she couldn't navigate. Every morning she sat alone at the massive dining table, surrounded by glittering silverware and untouched plates of food she had no appetite for. The air conditioning chilled her bones, and the silence of the apartment was suffocating. She missed the village, the roosters crow at dawn, the smell of fresh earth after rain, the simple meals cooked with love. But more than anything, she missed feeling needed. One evening, as she sat by the window, she overheard Cameron on the phone. "I don't know how much longer she'll stay. I've done my duty. What else does she want?" A lump formed in her throat. She turned away, pressing her wrinkled fingers together. He had provided her with everything but warmth. The next morning, she made a quiet decision. She packed her small bundle and waited for Cameron to wake up. When he finally did, she spoke softly. "Beta, I think I should go visit Junaid now." Cameron looked up from his phone, surprised. "Junaid? But Amma, his house is nothing compared to this. He can't offer you the comfort you have here." She smiled gently. "I think I need something else right now." Without waiting for an argument, she stood up, shoulders straight, heart already longing for home. Amma Jan's journey to the village was long, but every mile felt lighter than the last. When she finally arrived, stepping down from the worn-out bus, she saw her younger son, Junaid, running toward her, arms wide, face beaming. His clothes were simple, his hands calloused from hard work, but the warmth in his eyes was enough to melt all the cold she had carried in her heart. "Amma, you're here!" He lifted her small bundle onto his back and guided her through the narrow, dusty paths lined with fields of golden wheat. Their house was small, built with aged bricks, and a roof that leaked during the rains. But as soon as she stepped inside, the scent of fresh roti and burning wood greeted her like an old friend. Junaid's wife rushed forward, wiping flour from her hands, and hugged Amma Jan tightly. "Amma, you must be tired. Sit. I'll bring tea." Amma Jan sat on the charpai in the open courtyard, breathing deeply. The air was warm, the sound of birds chirping in the distance. Junaid's little daughter ran to her, giggling, climbing into her lap like it was the safest place in the world. For the first time in weeks, Amma Jan smiled, a real, full smile. And as she sipped her tea, feeling the sun's warmth on her face, she realized that for all the riches Kamran had, he had nothing compared to this. Here, she wasn't just a guest. Here, she was home. The days in the village unfolded like a melody Amma Jan had long forgotten. She woke up to the sound of birds, the distant call of the azan, and the comforting clatter of Junaid's wife preparing breakfast in the small kitchen. Unlike the lifeless silence of Kamran's apartment, this house breathed. It had laughter, voices, and the warmth of people who truly saw her. One morning, as she sat outside, rolling dough to help make parathas, Junaid walked in, wiping sweat from his forehead. His shirt was damp, his hands covered in dust, but his face glowed with satisfaction. "Amma, today was a good day at work," he said, sitting beside her. She smiled. "Tell me about it, Beta." Junaid ran a modest repair shop in the village, fixing everything from bicycles to broken radios. It wasn't much, but he took pride in his work. "A farmer came in today with a broken plow," he explained. "I fixed it, and he couldn't pay much, but he gave me a sack of fresh wheat in return." He pointed to a bag resting by the door. "Now we'll have enough flour for months." Amma John listened, stirring the boiling tea. There was no shame in his words, no bitterness about his struggles, only gratitude for what he had. Later that afternoon, she sat with her granddaughter under the neem tree, weaving small braids into the little girl's hair. The child, barely 5, looked up with innocent curiosity. "Dadi, why did you stay in the city so long?" Amma John paused. How could she explain that the city had everything: comfort, luxury, endless riches, but it had none of this? Instead, she asked softly, "Tell me, my John, what makes you happy?" The little girl thought for a moment, then giggled. "When Baba lifts me high in the air, when Ami tells me stories at night, and when you come to visit." Amma John's heart swelled. Such simple things, such precious things. That evening, as the sun dipped below the fields, Junaid and his wife set up dinner outside. Dal, freshly baked rotis, and onions sliced on an old wooden plate. They ate together under the open sky, the warm breeze carrying the scent of earth and home. "You must miss the city food, Amma," Junaid said, watching her carefully. She tore a piece of roti, dipping it into the dal, savoring the familiar taste. "No, Beta," she said with certainty. "This is a feast for me." That night, lying on a simple cot beneath the stars, Amma John felt lighter than she had in years. The hard mattress beneath her bones was nothing compared to the weight that had lifted from her heart. She had spent years believing wealth could buy happiness, but here, with no riches, no luxuries, she had never felt richer. Days in the village passed like a dream Amma John never wanted to wake from. Every morning she swept the small courtyard, fed the hens, and sat under the neem tree, watching life unfold in its purest form. She laughed more in those few weeks than she had in years. But then, one day, a sleek black car rolled up the dusty road, stopping outside Junaid's small house. The sound of its honk cut through the peaceful afternoon like an unfamiliar voice in an old song. Kamran stepped out, adjusting the cufflinks on his pressed shirt. His expensive cologne carried through the air, foreign in a place scented with earth and warm bread. "Amma," he called, smiling tightly. "It's time to come home." Junaid stepped forward, wiping his hands on his clothes. "She is home, Bhai." Kamran barely glanced at him, his eyes fixed on his mother. "Amma, you've stayed long enough. Your place is with me. You don't have to live like this anymore." Amma John looked at both her sons, one standing in polished shoes, the other barefoot on the dirt floor. She saw the difference not just in their wealth, but in their hearts. She stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on Kamran's arm. "Beta, tell me, in your big house, do you ever sit outside and feel the wind on your face?" Kamran hesitated. "Amma, what does that have to do with anything? Do you hear laughter when you eat? Do you ever wake up smiling for no reason at all?" Kamran looked away. "Amma, I have work, responsibilities." She sighed, shaking her head. "You have everything, Beta, but you have nothing." Tears pricked Kamran's eyes. "I just wanted to give you a good life." She cupped his face, her touch warm despite the cool gold of his watch pressing against her wrist. "A good life isn't built with money. It's built with love." For the first time, Kamran saw his mother truly happy, without servants, without riches, without the towering walls of his mansion. And for the first time, he felt unbearably poor. He swallowed hard, stepping back. "If this is what makes you happy, Amma, I won't stop you." She smiled softly. "Come visit me, Beta, not as a rich man, just as my son." Kamra nodded, his eyes heavy with realization. He turned, stepping into his car, the engine's roar fading into the distance. Amma Jan watched the road long after he had gone. Then, turning back to Junaid's home, she breathed deeply, feeling lighter than ever before. She had made her choice,